This is Italy, is a mod creator, and at the same time, he's a creator of 7, one of the 7 most obsessive fads for players. Not only that, he also created to 7 other fads as intro. World and Salvation a key level to me. Characteristics of 2. These 7 fads are all about obsession and horror, when the body emits horrible images and scary effects for players. In addition, there are equally obsessive entities. Levelman Analysis Shadow. What would that be like when I have to deal with those psychological obsessions, and if I can survive? Horrible things will appear in the game, or not. Watch all of my videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And now let's start with the video. When the game hit my eyes first. Those are the strange things. Appears right above the top of the head. I tried to run back to see more, and discovered that these are strange constructions, and I don't know where it came from. In my hand is the medicine box, and it's probably going to be used at times of integration. So now I'm going to take what I have with me. Work. My first step is to cut down a nearby tree to get wood, and use it to make yourself a fabrication table, from which to make rudimentary wooden tools, cup and reel. And when I'm done, I smash the table to carry it. And while walking around, then I discovered a cave that was both big and long. I quickly ran to the bottom to dig yourself some rocks there, and use it to make stone tools. 2 numb wooden objects. By the way, I smashed some coal right next to me, and put the blog over there to dig up all the iron ore that's on it, because it looks like this cave is kind of overcast, so I don't want to go down. It's just hanging around the mouth of the cave to dig up some iron. There's a stream near me, so by the way, I use it to go up. And it doesn't seem very safe. When a message appears, told me I'd better not be near water. After I went down to the cave, I started walking around, and then kill some cows to get their meat back. And this causes the brain to slow down quite a bit. Fortunately, there are some flowers nearby. I can pick them, and then come together to form a ring of flowers. It's going to help me increase my brain, so I don't get walnuts. Near where I'm standing, there's a cemetery. There were some graves inside, so I went over there to see what happened. I tried digging underneath to find it, but it didn't look like anything. And the weird thing isn't just there. While I'm smashing the pole, then everything mysteriously turns to night. Then in my ear, I heard a strange sound. Everything around you starts to change. It makes me dizzy. The scene becomes very scary. I just put it down to stay, and then expand around to make temporary shelter. I quickly built myself a kill. The words around it are constantly appearing in my head in a strange way. I don't really care about that. I used charcoal to floss some wood to get wood charcoal. After there was wood, I started taking it and build me a farm blade. Symbol. To sacrifice the kill when there's no light. And also thanks to the camp tongue, it should be easier for me to cook. You can cook both nets. Waiting for food to be cooked, I did dig some rocks. It is intended to be used tomorrow. After the meat has been cooked, then I used some of the leftover fire to feed some iron, and everything was interrupted by a strange voice, but a noise. After waiting for a long time, it was finally light. I quickly closed the campfire, so they built it in the furnace to go out. Just stepped out. Then I realized there's a forest on the other side. It's kind of dark and scary, but I'm still going through there looking around. Paradise! I also cut down some trees to get her. I also heard a strange song. Everything started to slow down. Because I'm scared, I can't make a sound. Waiting for the music to pass. Then I keep moving to kill some sheep for their fur. There is no bed to sleep in right now. There's some wild crops there, so I took it too, as well as not. The lack of watermelons that grow long in the forest. While snoring, then I heard some guy squeaking. I don't really care about ghosts, so I still took all the watermelons there. I also killed a few more chickens for meat, but a chicken appeared when it can stand on a one strange way. While killing the cows, I also heard some sounds, like the laughter of a child. and something just disappeared right next to me. Then yes, I don't care about that either. For now, I have enough to do it for myself. To PC's bag, I can use it to draw water to quench my thirst. But a message popped up and said, "I've seen you." And everything around began to encapsulate in my vision like a TVI. It's kind of weird, but I don't really care. You keep moving. Until I fell into a cave, and my vision started to fade away. And a song is played. I tried the drug, then everything starts to get back to normal. But that's just my imagination. And there's a little one behind me, the siren monster. Fortunately, I quickly put my blog up. This makes it impossible for the monster to attack. After a long time, it was gone. I enlisted to go down, then keep moving. But now it's starting to get dark. So you can only dig a hole to stay overnight. Below, I made myself a bed to sleep in. But there's some voices echoing in my ears. It's about me not sleeping, and always wake me up. And then it's gone, just a little bit of noise. The day after waking up, I hear the voices again. And a line came up, talk about it, warning me. What's even weirder is that a message pops up saying, "I can save myself so I can speak up." But when I say hello, then the surrounding space turns into a dark night. I can only dig below, and then continue to put the bed to sleep through the night. After being threatened, I kept working. Go around. Find an ideal place to build a house. Because I shouldn't go into the water, so I built myself a boat. Go to the next island. But it doesn't seem very safe when I'm making strange noises behind me. So I ended up on a nearby island, then keep walking around. In front of me is a strange house. It's covered in moss, and it seems like it's been forgotten for a long time. I opened the door and went in. Inside I saw a lot of dead bodies of the villagers, but in the mirror there's nothing worth taking. So I decided to go home, but everything turns to night. So I had to sleep in that house tonight. The next morning I kept moving to cross the forest. By the way, I also picked some flowers there. I use it to make myself a wreath. To make sure I don't get walnuts, at the bottom of the hill, I found a small rice field. Curious, I ran inside for 6. Found some iron embryos as well as some seeds. By the way, I also harvested all the grain there. To make food, there is also a mirror outside. 3 more iron billets. When I get it all, I keep moving. A majestic mountainous region. Cross over. The sheep found a message that popped up and said, "I'm behind you, hi." And things started getting weirder. When all the animals are around, he looked at me with a very perverted look. I don't know how to explain about this mysterious phenomenon. Maybe it's because of the previous announcement. What the fuck are you looking at? Next to it, I found a strange mass. And out of curiosity, he banged out. Inside, I found some dead bodies and a child's laughter. Because there's nothing worth taking. So I built myself an iron cup to dig out the only gold there. After a few days of moving, I also found a small village. Go up, I saw another broken down carriage, but inside just give me gunpowder and some bones. Then I found a house to rest in. Inside the house I saw a big-headed villager. Ass is dancing on a bed. But I don't really care. To grab a trunk, to put all the food inside. And then heat me some iron to use. In the meantime, I've been walking around and was startled by a strange noise. But it's also dark, so I went back and went to bed. After just waking up, I heard rustling around my house. At the same time, the torches were blown by a wind when they were turned off. And the weirder thing, that's the big-ass villager. Just follow me. Like perverts. I also ignore it, but go home and make yourself a wreath. It's like building an iron armor to protect the body while placing the bed as a sleeping place. Then strange sounds come out and talk about something that's turned off. Because you can't see anything. So I went back to make myself a wooden hoe and use it to harvest all the shackles, straw around the village. But I don't know why my brain started to slow down. But there are no monsters around. There's only one villager standing there staring at me. When I looked back at him, then everything starts to get back to normal. After a while, sounds like the piano. It was released again. To be safe, so I put the block on high. make sure nothing shows up. So I kept moving through the nearby cliffs to dig up some iron, and every time we move, I've had to deal with horrible images, as well as strange sounds. Always makes me take precautions. After a while walking around the village, but not 6 at all, I decided to do my usual job. It's like drawing water from the river to use it. But a strange noise came out. It startled me. That's it. Strange images are also around at the river bank. Maybe I shouldn't be anywhere near water. So I decided to go back. I went home and waited to be found. And a child's voice interrupted what I was doing. When looking around, I saw a chicken looking at me. It had a strange feeling, so I tried to attack it. This chicken flew up and stood still. Then you stare at me. For being too afraid, so I quickly destroyed it to avoid being tracked. The iron is also finished. That's how I made one more pair of pants, and were blown off the torches again, lighting inside the house. Not only that, but my surroundings started to get dark, with a contrasting color. I tried to use the drug, so as not to suffer from strange hallucinations, then cook some food. But in the meantime, there's another song playing. I tried to look around, but there was nothing. It seems that this village is quite mysterious and strange. And then, bring all your stuff to continue the journey, not to stay in this village anymore. The scary thing is not only that, when there are no villagers around here, but after being intimidated by a song, then I turned around. I found out the villagers were up there. And maybe, all the scary stuff is just that I thought of it. But I've decided to leave this village, to keep moving to find a better place. Through the dense forest, and it looks like it's quite hot. When the temperature starts to rise high, I've only got one way to go underwater, to lower the temperature. There was a warning not to be in the water. But now I don't care, because there's no way to move. While I was walking, I also found another box, so I decided to stop by the river, then collect 10 flowers. It's meant to be a flower ring. And collect 10 blocks of gold in it. I'm moving across a plain. He stopped when he saw a village next door. Side. Next to it is a broken gate of hell. There is nothing in the mirror to take. So I started spinning. To go back to the village that I found, I built myself a pair of scissors and quickly clean up all the grass and leaves around. Because I'm currently planning to build a house next door, but it's also late afternoon. So I decided to go to bed and leave work behind. What the fuck? After cleaning the leaves, then I started cutting down the tree that was left, and then make a trunk for all the leaves and grass inside. For tidiness, I also make myself a shovel, and start digging up all the dirt right next door, because I need land to fix the holes, as well as uneven places. In the end, I also had a big place to build a house. Happy not long ago, when a music is played again. I'm looking around, but I saw a pervert looking at me nearby. After the music once again stops, then I started with the construction of my own house. But it didn't go as well as I thought. There's only one gray in my sight now. I can only wait for these phobias to pass. Now I'm out of wood. It can only be reassembled with wood. For that reason I also tried to plant some sprouts to get more wood. But it's come to me in a strange way. When all the illusions of observation, then comes the scary sounds. But this time the aliens show up. It attacked me. But luckily, it's the villager there. Run out to protect. After a while of abstinence, the monster is gone too. Leave me a big black ride behind. After being scared, then I quickly went on to build my house. While taking things outside, I hear the sounds again. But the voices of many come out and say something. I don't know. But no matter what, I finished my place. There's only one bed missing, so I ran into the villager's house. Take that bed over there. But a message pops up, talking about how I had to talk to save myself. After continuing to message hello, then the sky starts to turn to night, and the strange sounds that come out. I tried to put my blog up. It's a temporary place to sleep for the night. While trying to sleep, then a sign came up and told me to run. At that time, the game was lagging, and I had to log back into the world. Fortunately, this place is not faulty, and I still appear above the shelter that I created. Illusions began to appear more and more in my mind. I can only use drugs and acid works. I still can't sleep right now. For one reason, there's not enough players. But there's a strange thing here. It's that I'm playing alone. Then another song was played, and the torches start to flicker. After being dazed without understanding what had happened, I was transported to another place. It's more accurate. This is the murky world of the salon. It's in here. Strange faces are smiling at me. It's like being in this world for too long. Makes my brain go down. And what's more uninstructive is that I was transported to the village again, that I've gone before. I can only sleep there one night, but after going to bed, I couldn't sleep. Just like I couldn't get out of that bed. I tried to sleep but couldn't. Everything around me is still black. Try to endure till the morning. I took it outside. Then look around. Then he's attacked by a spider. Fortunately, thanks to it, that I've made a new achievement. Makes my brain grow a little bit. And after a little recovery, I ran out to the nearby plains to pick flowers to make flower rings. The pervert looked at me with a strange look, while the words appear in front of me. As well as, I was attacked by something invisible. I can't see it either. I can only run down the river next door to escape from what attacked me. When I go home, there are some strange things in the back without an explanation. The creepy sounds that appear, and the illusion started watching me. These works, it's like what I saw at the beginning of the game, but after a while it disappeared. And I don't know why. It's not over yet, when there were some scary images in front of me. And it seems that what did that was a strange entity. Is hovering nearby. It's got a face that's scarred by a twisted smile. Because it looks pretty scary, so I decided to run as far as I could to avoid it. But it's still there, and when I turn around, it's emitting scary images again. This time I decided to take courage and run up to that strange entity. Then it disappears without an explanation. It was time I decided to build a house. This entity appears again and emits horrible images. But when I get close to it again, then it disappears. Because it's too boring for me to care about it anymore. Because now, I'm going to dig a cave to live in. Because building a house is exhausting for me. I dug myself a hole, and then it starts expanding inside out as a place to live, but still suffer from the horror of the monster, are looking at me, not far from disturbing. I don't really care, and continue with the work of expanding the housing. While digging, my torches were blown out. It makes the night around it dark. And the monstrous entity that's constantly bothering me, by emitting images of a black face. I laughed, but this time there was a change. When strange illusions appear, it makes me dizzy because of the distorted sounds and the distorted images. Continue with the work of expanding the accommodation. Before I saw it, the face that came to my mind. But this time I showed up outside, and he's staring at me and smiling. I was so scared that I started closing the door. But that much! Still can't escape the illusions. Psychologically, I'm going to bed for the night. It's like a line that pops up and says I should run. At the same time, the sound of footsteps and spooky smiles fade into the evil of my mind. The sound is getting louder and louder because I know I've been chased by the man of the night. Not only that, the illusions are always there that I don't know what to do, sitting in a corner waiting. Though it's dark, but I need to make these strange entities disappear. Then I can go to bed. But I guess I was wrong when I ran outside. The images, the noise, and the horrible sounds are constantly coming out. They startled me and just run into the house to sleep. I hope I can get through the night. But it's not as easy as I thought. When I'm transported back into strange space, the images and the hallucinations kept coming before my eyes. I don't know what to do. Fortunately, it disappeared when it started to light up. What the hell are two entities? You stand there and stare at me. Suddenly, everything in front of me is gone. I can only take medicine to ease my mind. Fortunately, everything is gone. Go back to your house and drive the villager away. While making myself some kins, then my chopsticks are blown out. I don't really mind burning myself some wood. To use wood as a campfire. It's like making a big trunk. Put all the unnecessary stuff in. And then, I also use straw to make some bread for myself. Food for stomach lining. After the wood has been cooked, I use it immediately to make yourself a little campfire. Put it out to replace the light of the torches. Because it can't be turned off. I also made myself some fenced doors to avoid the villagers. It's like monsters can get into my house. In the meantime, I also take on jobs. It's like picking flowers. To dig up some fired stone to make an ore furnace. It's like cutting down a few more trees to get wood. I also run around my house, looking for some caves, but inside is just a small cliff. There's a lot of water going down there, so I decided to go up. And for searching from morning to evening, I couldn't find anything, so I decided to go back. Fucking each other. Because nothing is safe outside. So I ran into the house, then go to bed. The next morning when the sun had just risen, the fog still surrounds my village. I ran to the hill behind the village and see a cliff. The bottom seems pretty deep, but I was startled by a noise coming from above. But that wasn't enough to stop me. Search under the mouth of the cave. I went deep inside and start putting torches to light up the whole neighborhood. Beneath the deep cave, then I discovered a monster. When I look at it, it starts looking back. Then they make strange voices and the growls. While watching the monster, I was pushed to the bottom. Fortunately, I fell on a small rock. When I look up, I didn't see anything up there that pushed me. Fortunately, the monster is gone. There are only horror images left, constantly being emitted. I rushed downstairs to find myself a little more iron, continued to move into the depths of the cave. Then I discovered, so the albino pervert is hanging from the ceiling. Suddenly it disappeared and appeared right behind me. And it startled me and made me shiver. But the sound of the piano scares me. I can only feel the stone around. It is itself a temporary shelter. Waiting for those sounds to pass. I'll also dig some coal. Gold on the side. And then, I kept moving deeper into the cave. It looks like inside this is a spider's nest, because there's a lot of eggs. I also quickly started with my work. I dug up all the observations there. And then I found out the monster Steve mutated. But when I look back, it's gone. In a strange way. Piano music is played again. I know something's wrong and it's what I thought. When Simon's monster reappeared. Fortunately, this one can't swim, so I swam quickly across the Kia shore and watch it twitch in one place. But in return, this monster has a very fast movement speed. Just run around and disappear. I'm not too concerned about it either. Continue with the reading work first. When I was startled by the sound of the monster Steve, I quickly put the blog up, then look around. For a moment the monster came to me. It's always not good. Fortunately, I quickly put my blog up and then put the borders around it. It makes it impossible to climb. Throughout my journey, there's always a word that comes up and made me talk to save my own life. I don't understand why every time I talk, it's like I'm going to die. After a while, the monster disappeared. But it shows up right next to a nearby football. Wait a little longer for the monster to disappear, and I thought it was safe. So start digging down below. But it seems I was wrong. When you turn your back, it shows up. So I can only wait once more. Then I can safely go down. Fuck, I keep working. Dig out all the iron above. Then go a little deeper into the cave. So I spent a whole day in the cave to dig iron, but in the meantime, I accidentally hatched an egg thanks to you. So I was bitten and had a toxic effect. I can only stand in a high place, waiting for the body to recover. No more waiting. I ran up with my pants on when leaving the mouth of the cave. Then, I accidentally saw a building above. High when zooming up. It seems like it's just a blurry image of a cube. Right below that is a shadow of something, like a ghost staring at me. When I turned around and looked back, it was gone. Weird things started to appear more and more. I quickly went back to my house and closed the door. I took advantage of the pile of iron that I had dug to heat into ovens. Currently, my goal it's about making a green pill. With that recipe is the red mushroom, narrow yellow and blue dye powder. Because illusory things start to appear more and more. So I thought I'd need a new bottle. The strange sounds and the scary images are always in front of me. And to get the drugs quickly, I ran, go to the river and dig up all the sand there. It's like cutting down a few more trees to get wood, and was disturbed by some noise. Or, when I had the ingredients, I quickly went home, take all the iron that's been fired, and put sand in to cook it into glass. I use wood to make wood. When there was iron, I quickly made new tools to replace old tools. And make yourself a pair of shoes. During construction, I was startled by the strange music. The flickering torches. It scared me, so I went to bed. Avoid having to face illusions. When you've got charcoal and glass, I put them together to create a clean water purifier. It's like building yourself some buckets. I use it to draw water from the lake next door, then expand my cave raw. It is easier to use without going too far. It's just done. I was threatened by another terrifying image. I want more clean water to drink. So I built myself some boxes and combine it with iron and silk to create a cloud that catches rainwater. Then take them all out and put them in the front yard to have clean water to use. I didn't forget either. Is some water to use for this trip tomorrow. But then I heard some music. And my gut tells me something's wrong. And just as I thought, the monster Simon showed up. Fortunately, I quickly lured him outside and locked the door. It seems pretty dangerous right now, so I quickly made myself another shield, just in case. Then go back to the cave last time. This time when I went down, then I heard another song. I just put a block on it to hide. And talk to something that's always calling me to answer. After a while, the song was finally over. But there's still some horrible images coming out. It doesn't matter, I'm still trying to continue my luck. But in the meantime, I listen to other music. But this time, I was transported to that dark space again. There are more shadows looking at me. And there's always horror in front of you. After the psychological pressure, he threw me back home. I don't know what to do but go to bed. Both. The next day, I went back to the cave where I had been. I decided to go deeper to find more. But things didn't go so well when I'm startled by strange sounds. And the image in front of me was dark black. After having experienced those illusions, I'll continue with your first job. While observing, I found some more diamonds. But first, I have to destroy people. Bones are shooting at me. After that, I quickly went digging and built a diamond cup there as well. Want more protection for the body? I built myself a diamond armor to replace the iron armor. While observing, then I happened to see something on the other side of the cliff. But strange sounds that always interrupt my thoughts. I'm going to put a block over there to explore, but now the torch is out, so every time I move, it's very difficult. I can only stand close to that building before my last torch is turned off. So I quickly went back to the light, then go up. I grabbed some torches there, then sleep in a house next door. The next morning, I went back to my house, and then you're scared by the scary images. I went back home to heat up all the observations that I found while I was lucky. While I'm looking to the right side of my house, I found a broken gate to hell. But there's no tail, so I decided to pour water underneath to form obsidian. Then use your diamond cup to dig them out. On my way back, I accidentally hit a chicken. And more precisely, this chicken has been following me since the beginning of the game. I slowly hit it, but this time there's an entity out there. It startled me, made me run home fast, and dare not rest, because there was oxygen. So I hid some rocks in front of the house to build in front of the gates of hell. When I finished, I ran down to the lake to dig some more gravel to get the leaves, combined with iron to form a box of scratches, then activate in front of the gates of hell. Before I go, I make a pair of scissors and cut all the leaves from the trees. Use it to knit a pair of trousers. It's like a hat. After everything is prepared, I quickly went to hell. Gate, let me appear at the bottom of a cave this time. It's covered in stone, so the only way I can get out of this place, that's digging a way out. But digging takes a long time. It's also quite far away, so I need to light it up or my brain goes down. But there's no more torches, so I had to go home. Then dig some coal inside the house to make a torch. But some sounds have interrupted my work. It's also because illusions start to appear more and more. When I can still see, weird ghosts appear at my door. And where did a monster come from? It startled me. I can only wait until morning. You can go back to hell, and then continue with the work of digging a path to clear. Go somewhere else. I also went to a larger place, but it's still amputated, and the pigs didn't understand why they attacked me. I can just put a block to block it. Then the way is always inside. After digging for a long time, I used up all the torches. You can only use the light box, but it seems I've dug into a terrible fortress. I quickly jump to the bottom and start looking around. I kill the skeletons there, and then look down. In the end, I also found what I was looking for. That's the red mushroom. I'm going to smash a layer through the next cliff. Then go down. Smash all the mushrooms I've seen. Fuck each other. Looks like there's a pervert in the back. My ass is. After having the material, I quickly sent home. Then use the remaining glass as a glass jar. Then combine with the remaining ingredients to form a blue drug. I quickly used it with the desire to be free of psychological illusions, and now I've achieved that goal too. It's finding the potion, new and just here. See you in the next 2 days. Don't forget to like and subscribe to your channel. I'll see you in the next video.